We do think we're in a bottoming process. I know it's frustrating, and I've been in many of these markets. These are bear markets. Anything down more than 20% is a bear market. And at the turning points, it just seems so frustrating. But stick with me as I'm going through the usual drill here, and I want to give you a sense of why we think we're bottoming, and what the tug of war is out there, and how the evidence is piling up that we are probably moving into a deflationary environment. I really do believe that the Fed believes that we have a problem that might be that significant. If they didn't believe it, they wouldn't be acting this quickly. And I think they're awfully afraid of ruining their own legacies. They do not want to be known as the Federal Reserve members who presided over another big wave of inflation. And as we've been saying for quite some time, we think this inflation is more associated with the shock of COVID and the rebound and all of the distortions that took place because of it. And we're getting more and more evidence about that. Now, one of the things that concerns us is, because they are so fearful, the Fed members have taken the Fed funds rate up from 25 basis points, so 0.25%, to 250 basis points, 2.5%, in the span of a half year. That's a tenfold increase. Now, we were in a period, especially after 08-09, where the Fed was, basically laying low and just letting the economy heal. And so we had this extended period of very low interest rates, which started to change in 2017-18. And then they had to rein it back in because at the end of 2018, the economy looked like it was going to fall apart. And then, of course, in 2020, we had COVID. Nonetheless, for most of the last decade, very low interest rates, very little movement in interest rates. And now, all of a sudden, a tenfold increase in short-term interest rates. Many people are using the level of interest rates to suggest that this is not really tight monetary policy. It's only 2.5% on the interest rate. But I really believe that change has been a tremendous shock to our system. Now, M2 itself, it peaked at 27% at some point in 2020, and it's down to 5.3% as of July. And given what we know about demand deposits in the banking system, it's probably going to drop to 4% in August, not leaving a lot of room for both growth and inflation to coexist. More important to us is what has happened to money supply in the last few months. It has been flat. It peaked in March, and basically it's at March's level today. That rarely happens with money supply. And so the longer it stays flat, the lower the year-over-year growth rate will go, 4.1%, 3%, and so forth, and could get to zero by the end of the year. And so we're watching that carefully. And we are, of course, wondering what the Fed's next move is. They say they're going to jack interest rates up again. And we'll talk about the employment report in a minute. But there is some fraying at the edges inside employment. And I think there's also perhaps a big seasonal factor distortion. As I've watched initial unemployment insurance claims come in the last few weeks, at the same time, we're seeing one headline after another of layoffs. I'm saying this disconnect doesn't make sense. The real world is not consistent with these statistics. And it just dawned on me. I know some people have been talking about seasonal factors, but in watching what has happened to claims, I do believe this may be an issue.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information. And it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
I have bad news for you. If you're not rich by now, you're screwed. And if you're in debt, you're even double screwed. How so, you might wonder? Well, the sad truth is that you're working your whole life to make someone else rich. The mega corporations, the banks, the politicians, everyone is getting richer. They get your money. And what is even worse, they get your time, they get your life. You are not even in a rat race, you're in a financial prison. But what could a solution for you look like? Honestly, I don't know, but I know what a solution for me would look like. It's very simple. I use whatever money I have and I multiply it with 1,000. This could make my life much easier and probably yours as well. If you have $1,000 available and multiply this with 1,000, I believe that this could solve some financial issue for the one or the other. Of course, if you're ugly, you would have to multiply it with much more than 1,000. My name is Markus Dahn, and this is what I decided to do. I decided to 1000x my money. This is not a joke. I know what you may be thinking. What is this guy talking about? How should this work? This is not possible. Well, I made a detailed video where I laid out my plan. And some clever folks might even want to look at this plan and copy it and do exactly what I do. This is just a little hint on the side. You have two options. You leave, you forget what you have seen. You do whatever you're doing and you hope that somehow you get some other results. Good luck with that. Or you click the link below the video. You enter your email address because I'm not showing this to everybody. You at least watch my video on how I plan to 1000x my money. The choice is yours. Make the right choice. Join me. See what a different future you could have. See at least how I intend, how I plan to do the 1000x. So click on the link below, enter your email address, and I see you on the other side. Your Markus Dahn.